initially, well, congratulations, and just your thoughts on getting the award.
Well, thank you. It's amazing. Feels good, obviously. That's something that I dreamed of, and I've always wanted. Especially when I started, playing basketball. That was always the goal, and obviously there's other goals and stuff, but this is just one step to whatever I want to accomplish, which is to win championships, and we're right there. So it felt pretty good.
For a follow-up question, I guess I was there like when they first drafted you. Initially you thought you were going to go to Cleveland, right? Then you break your foot. Then you missed the following year. And there's also that time when your brother passed away, right? And you were thinking long and hard about giving all this up and going back home. And, I think this is a testament to perseverance, sticking it through, and now you're the MVP when you were actually thinking about giving up basketball.
I've always said it. I feel like my life is a movie. You look at the way, obviously starting playing basketball at 15, and not really know. I mean, the whole goal was to just when I got the chance to come to the U.S. was really to come get a degree and find a way to get a job because I didn't think basketball would take me anywhere. So with everything that's been happening, obviously losing my brother was a big part of it. To almost leading me to quitting basketball, not wanting to come back because I felt like it was kind of my fault because I left Cameroon, I left my family, and I felt like I should have been there to do something, and that was also at a period where there was a lot of dark times, missing two years because obviously the foot and everything going on really around the organization, outside of basketball. It was tough, but I'm just glad that I pushed through it, and I'm here sitting in front of you guys, having accomplished something that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to. It's hard. It's hard to win in this league. It's hard to be successful in this league. There's a reason why, these are the best basketball players in the world, and to be sitting here and feel like I want something as far as the most valuable player is great. But then again, he's also part of my story because I've always felt like I was a role model, and especially to my Cameroonian people and my African people, and I feel like, just looking at my story, that's, they can look at it and be like, wow, he did it. Probably the probability of someone like me, starting playing basketball at 15, to get the chance to be the MVP of the league is, I'll say probably -0. Yeah, with all the opportunities that, we don't have a lot of opportunities back in, in Africa in general to get to this point. But, improbable doesn't mean impossible. And, you can accomplish anything you set your mind to as long as you believe in it and, you keep working hard, anything can happen.
Joel, you mentioned those dark times. Since then, where do you feel like you've grown as a person?
I'll say the biggest key of it is obviously, it's all about family. I don't talk about it a lot. My son, I would say, is probably the biggest part of it. My parents, they've been here, from the beginning. I'm still kind of pissed at my dad because he didn't let me start playing basketball until 15. Who knows what I could have been if I had started earlier, but he made the right decision. Everything happens for a reason. You know, my mom, she doesn't really care about all of this. She just wants me to be healthy and, you know, be able to, you know, do what I love. So that being a big part of it. And then obviously my family, you know, fiance, Arthur, like I said, he's the, you know, obviously losing my, you know, my brother, and, you know, I think, and then giving his name to my son meant a lot. And he's, you know, my son is, you know, the reason why I'm really sitting here, because I just, you know, when I found out, you know, we were having a kid, I just remember I was like, I gotta be a great role model, and I gotta set a good example. I want him to understand that, you know, his dad not only was pretty good, but he also worked hard, and he went and, you know, took everything he wanted. So he's one of the reasons why, like, my whole mindset just changed. Everything about me just changed. The way I went about my business, my life, everything just changed, because I just wanted to be a great father, set a good example, and you know, and then obviously there's been a lot of people along the way. You know, if I start going through names, we're gonna be sitting here for a long time, but so they know who they are. I mean, Drew, you know, Kim, you know, the Talent family that were a big part of, you know, my rehab. You know, when I got to the league, that really took care of me. It's a lot of people. You know, I got a lot of, you know, may seem like I don't have a lot of friends, but I do have a lot of friends. Like I said, that know who they are. You know, my guys from LA. I won't go through names. There's a lot of people, but a lot of people have helped me get here. It would not be possible without those people. They've sacrificed a lot for me. But story's not over. You know, like, you know, I don't want to say, but, you know, it's baby steps, you know, to get, you know, where you want. And, you know, we went all through these years of the process to trying to get, you know, these opportunities. And I think a lot of credit goes to the fans also, because they've been so supportive, you know, from the beginning. You know, showing up to games, even though there were seasons where we won 10 games, and EB hanging a banner in the locker room. I remember being pissed about it because my name was up there and I had nothing to do with it, because I'm just not a loser. I hate losing. But you know, we went through a lot, whether it's the burner accounts, you know, my guy Sam Hinkie, you know, getting kicked out, and there's a lot that has happened that we had to go through, and I think the fans are a big part of it. Always been supportive, and like I said yesterday, this is about. It's not just, you know, for me, my teammates, the whole organization, the fans. You know, everybody played a big part of it.
You talked a bunch about how you don't care about winning this award. We saw your way emotions went through you last night. You talked about how you dreamt about doing this. I was curious, what has been the thing that's stood out to you about why this matters so much to win this award?
I think a lot of people have this misconception of you know, the difference between being competitive and wanting to win everything possible. You know, I don't want to win this award because, you know, it's just the MVP. I want to win it because it means a lot to me. Like, you know, like I said, I went through a lot, and that's just a validation of, you know, that everything, the sacrifices and everything you went through, you know, is paying off in some ways. And, you know, obviously winning a championship is gonna be way better, and we have that opportunity. But, you know, I'm just competitive. I want it all. I want to win everything that I can get my hands on, and everybody around me knows that. It doesn't matter if it's about basketball or if you're playing a game, in life or whatever. I want to win everything. I want to be first, and like I said. Now, I know I've always said I don't care, but it was just for you guys to leave me alone and not ask me questions about it. But, I do care in a way that it means that, I just, it validates, like I say, validates everything, all the work that you put in, and just to be sitting here is just, is amazing.
You mentioned before how you appreciate being a role model for everybody back home. You're the first person to win MVP who came from a BWB camp. I was curious, especially given your late start and kind of getting your first chance there. I was curious what it means to you to be able to be kind of a trailblazer in that regard, and as part of showing people that they can accomplish things, to be the first person to do that.
Oh man, that's I didn't even know. That's pretty crazy, and like I said. Improbable doesn't mean impossible. A lot of us don't get these opportunities to come to the U.S. and get to go to high school and go to college and have a chance, to be on an NBA roster, let alone being an all-star. I was talking to, Luke is another big part of why I'm sitting here because he gave me, these opportunities, and it's like, oh man, it's crazy. Like, we were just talking about the whole journey of what it took for me to be here, and he just feels amazing. And like I said, being a role model, and mainly to my African people, that's the best of all, because I want us to succeed. For us to usually achieve something, we have to work, twice as hard as everybody else, and I want them to understand that, yeah, we can do it. It's possible. You just gotta be a little lucky, but it's possible. If you get these opportunities, you gotta, just keep going and believe in your goals, and it's gonna happen.
Just real quick, obviously you just went through shoot around. How are you feeling coming out of that, and how do you feel about tonight, and how have the last couple of weeks been, given I know you spent the season hoping to not have to be in a situation where you're playing through an injury like this and missing time during the playoffs?
Yeah, it's tough, but like I said, my life is a movie. Everything happens for a reason. Every single year, always, something freaky happening, and that's okay. That's another challenge on the way to, getting to where I want to. And obviously it's hard dealing with another injury, and but when something like that happens, you got about a day to kind of be sad and whatever, and it's time to go back to work and rehab and trying to make sure you do everything possible to be able to get back on the floor. So obviously it's earlier than we thought, considering what I had, but I'm just glad to be able to go up and down, and kind of see how it feels. So we're just gonna take day by day and see how it feels and go from there.
Okay, so just to clarify, is it still up in the air if you will go tonight, or what are you expecting for tonight's game? And then I have a real question, I promise.
It's a possibility, just like it was a possibility in the first game. But I'm gonna listen to those guys and see what they have to say, the doctors, and obviously I want to play. Everybody knows me. I just love being on the court, and I love to play. So there's a possibility, and I got the green light, and then we're gonna go ahead. But like I said, we're just gonna talk about it. But feel pretty good, just like I felt about the game. Last game, I felt like we had a huge opportunity and that we were gonna win. And tonight, whether I play or not, I believe in those guys. Anything can happen, and I think we got a huge chance to win a game.
And then just broader speaking, we've obviously seen the statistical jumps, the numbers you've put up the last couple of years, but when teammates talk about you, they often talk about your leadership strides, and I know that's kind of an intangible thing that can be hard to quantify, but how have you, over the last couple seasons, maybe kind of made a concerted effort to be more of a leader? How have you gone about doing that? Because knowing your personality too, it kind of maybe seems like it might have been a little unnatural for you at times.
I think when it comes to leadership, I don't think that's something that I really push to be. I remember having conversation with Coach Brown about what kind of leader I should be and what kind of leader I want to be. And, he offered me a couple examples. Obviously, he has a lot of history in the game of basketball, obviously being around the Spurs and Tim Duncan and, how they used to go about their business. And, it took me a while to kind of figure out how I wanted to lead. Obviously, everybody's different. I'm not going to be the guy to just go out and yelling at people or, be all hype and all that stuff. That's just not my personality. But the way I can do it is, by pushing my teammates in a positive way and sometimes in a negative way, just to get a reaction out of them. Because it's all about studying, guys too. Some guys, you want to be as positive as possible, and some guys, you can be a little bit negative, and they're gonna take it and they're gonna want to be better. And that's also me. I actually like when people are negative. I like when you guys tell me that I can do something or I can accomplish something, because I'm gonna go out there and the file night and show you that I can do it. So I think over the years I just found a way to just kind of relate more with my teammates. Obviously I don't do anything outside of basketball as far as whether it's going out and going to dinner. I just hate restaurants and stuff, so that's not me, but sometimes I do it. But I think the guys around me, they've also been extremely helpful. They've allowed me to just be myself, and then also just take me as I am, and that's been great. And Tyrese is a guy that I would probably put in the position of just understanding me and understanding that if I'm gonna criticize him, he knows it's because I want him to be better. Some other guys, in the past, I don't know, or now they might have, took that criticism as like, oh, he's mad, something, he has a problem with me. But no, it's not me. I want to win, and I can't win alone, and I need all of them, and they do understand it. So I think that's why this team is, is different and special.
Joel, there was an interesting video posted last night of you finding out the news and your reaction. It seemed like you let a lot of emotion release, and one of the more poignant moments in the video was James Harden coming over, a former MVP and a guy who's been in your shoes, and it seemed to say a few words to you. Can you talk about, were you relieved, were you elated, and what did he say to you in that moment?
Honestly, I don't know what was going on in that moment. I really, I told myself, I was like, if I'm gonna win, I'm not gonna have any emotions. I'm not gonna cry, and I'm just gonna, be happy and have a straight face. But I ended up doing the opposite, which that was unexpected. But all the guys, I wanted all the guys to be there because they're a part of it. They're one of the reasons why I was sitting there and getting that accomplishment. And James is, man, I don't even know where to start. I think since he been here, I think he won't tell me that, but I think he kind of made his goal for me to be the MVP. He's given up a lot, and he's, obviously I've always said it is the best playmaker I've ever played with, and he's the best playmaker probably in the NBA. So He's been helping me as far as, getting me easy opportunities, whether it's to score the ball or just be a better basketball player on and off the court. And, he was just extremely happy for me, just like they all were. And that meant a lot for me. That meant a lot to me, to know that, your teammates care about, you as much as I care about them.
Were there any reactions from the league? It's been, several hours. Has there been a reaction from outside of your team that really resonated with you, whether it be from a guy like Luke or whoever, where you said, wow, I didn't expect to hear from, Tim Duncan or, Hakeem or somebody like that? Has there been a response that you've received that may open your eyes?
No, I mean, I just, obviously, my people, my friends, I haven't gone through my phone, and whenever I get the time, I'm gonna go through it all and make sure that I thank all of them. And also, I gotta thank all of you guys, for voting for me, and but I'm just I've just been overwhelmed with the love and how much people have been supporting me over the years. And like I said, if I go through the names, that we're gonna be sitting here a long time. But I'm just so appreciative of everything everybody has done for me, and the support they've given me over the years.
Joel, there are points early on in your career where some of your coaches, I'm thinking stories with Bill and Kevin specifically, where they would tell you you could accomplish things like this and you didn't believe them. Is there a specific point in your career or a period of time where you started believing that you belonged in a league and that you could accomplish things like this?
Yeah, I think the most memorable one is probably my first game. I know, before that, a lot of people were always telling me, you have, and it goes back to probably, I'll say college, when Coach Self used to tell me that I was going to be a #1 pick. As for a kid like me, I was coming into college. I was supposed to be there for 4 years. I remember I wanted the red shirt and probably be there for 5 years because I had no idea that I had the opportunity to go to the league. And he used to tell me, you're going to be a #1 pick. And then I was like, man, I've always been told these coaches lie, and, they're going to tell you what you want to hear. And, that's not what they believe in. And that ended up happening. And then obviously my coaches that I've had, whether it's Coach Brown, the Billy Lang, and, so on, like all those guys, telling me about how good I could be. In the back of my mind, kind of believe it, but I didn't. But I believe it because I wanted to also push myself to kind of, not prove those people wrong, and to make sure that they can say that they were right when they said all those stuff. So, but when I first played my first bucket, I remember the turnaround fadeaway jumper. That's when I knew I was like, oh man, it's on. It's about to be scary for everybody else, because he just, I remember calling Drew after the game. I was like, damn, that was easy. My first game, I'm like, playing against Steven Adams, strong dude, and, these guys have been in the league for a long time, and well, that was, minute restrictions, 20-point. I was like, pretty easy. I was like, but got a long way to go. But that was probably when I knew that, yeah, I could do something special.
So, I mean, how much better does it feel getting this award, coming off a win in Game 1? I mean, this is the first time, in your career you're going to go into Game 2, I think, with a 1-0 lead, and in the semis, your 3 wins from the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, that had to have been, much better than coming off a loss. And where's your mindset at now? And what do you think of this opportunity you guys have?
I told the guys yesterday, we had, about 5 to 10 minutes to celebrate and then move on to Game 2. I think that's where I'm focused on, and that's where, you know, everybody's focused on. So, you know, game one is over. It was a great win, but we understand, you know, one game at a time, and, you know, that was a great win, but, you know, we move on. Tonight is going to be a whole different game. They're going to come at us, and, you know, everybody's got to be ready to respond and then also punch back. So, you know, we focus on tonight, and, you know, this is you know, like James was saying, this is like a game 7. Like we have to find ways to, you know, try to win this game. We got to do whatever it takes, whatever is possible, to make sure we put ourselves in, you know, positions to win this game. And you know, that's what the focus on. And you know, tonight, you know, we gonna do whatever it takes to make it happen.
And whether it's tonight or at some point in the future, are you confident that you're going to be back at some point and can make a difference in this series?
Yeah, I mean, you know, at some point I'll come back and add what I can, and then obviously, you know, be as 100% as I can be. But I'm sure I can make a difference. You know, I'm just gonna have to figure it out where I can help, and that's gonna be the easy part, because we just know how to play with each other, with or without me. So it's gonna be, you know, easy to, you know, get back into it, and then for myself, you know, just gotta let the game come to me whenever I come back. Haven't really done anything, you know, the last, you know, 2 weeks. So I think the biggest game for me is, you know, not pushing anything and just let the game come to me.
Joe, Doc the other day was talking about how, I guess he had a conversation with you when he first got here about trying to get you to this level. Can you just kind of talk about those conversations and what he's done to kind of push you to get to this level?
Man, I remember the first conversation that we had when he got here was, obviously it was about a bunch of things, but about basketball, I think he just wanted me to figure out who I was and, you know, who I wanted to be. And obviously as we got deeper in the conversation, you know, he started, you know, kind of making me understand not to be who I think I am and who I think I should be, was to make sure I just knew, you know, my spots on the floor and, you know, where I wanted the ball, and, you know, and that I had to go and kind of perfect it and walk on it over and over and over. And, you know, that helped a lot. And then we went back and we looked at film. I always go back to, you know, playoffs, you know, earlier in my career where I was just a post player and it was easy to double, and, you know, it was easier to, you know, harder to score. And we just looked at it and we figured out we were like, well, the better spot on the floor was, you know, the nail and the elbows area, that, you know, the mid-range. And so we started working on it, you know, over and over and over. And I think that's one of the biggest things that he made me understand, that, you know, for me to be as successful as I want, you know, I just got to find, you know, the spots on the floor where I'm extremely comfortable and make a living out of it.
Joel, you've mentioned a couple of them already, but your teammates as a part of this group, when you think of Tobias or Shake or Furkan, who you've been with forever, or PJ, who just came in this season, what about this specific team made it easier for you to win an MVP, and what excites you about this specific team moving forward?
That being, I think we just care about each other. We care about each other's success. We want everybody to be successful, and I think we also have a lot of veterans. And, you know, you got a right combination, and you got guys that understand that for everybody to be successful, you got to win. And, you know, to be able to win, everybody has to do their job, and they have to understand what the job is, and they got to go out and do it. I think that's the key. Obviously, adding PJ has been a huge part of it. Tyrese has taken another step. You know, D-Melt has been great. You know, I know Furk is not getting a lot. He's not getting a lot of minutes, but, you know, he's working hard to make sure that he's always ready. And, you know, I've been with him, for a long time. So, he can play. But, it just so happens that, coaches have to make decisions, and, that's just the way it is sometimes. Shake, all those guys, Tobias, we've been through a lot. So I'm just happy that, those guys are just able to go out and, do something like they did, game one. And, that's something that they can do every single night. So I just believe in them, and then know how much I care about them, how much I believe in them. So, I'm just excited to, just come back and whenever that is, and, add, whatever I can.